Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. We would really appreciate if you could recommend us to your friends and family as well as share information on social media. You could also support us by writing a glowing review in the app where you're listening to this podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or any other platform. This way more people would learn about the Highlights from Ukraine podcast and truth about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. My name is Artem and here is the news. For 317 days, Ukraine stands strong against the forces of the Russian invasion. Millions of Ukrainians celebrate today Orthodox Christmas. In his Christmas video address, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky congratulated millions of Ukrainian families who gathered together to spend Christmas Eve and meet the first star that announces the birth of Christ. Quote, "This is a holiday of harmony and family unity, and together we are all a big Ukrainian family. And no matter where we are now, at home, at work, in a trench, on the road, in Ukraine or abroad, our family is united as never before," unquote. The president said that this year all Ukrainians have one dream and it is a victory. Zelensky also asked Ukrainians to remember what evil is at war against them and pay attention to the air raid alerts, especially during the holidays. The US announced a new, so far largest defense support package for Ukraine worth over $3 billion, reports European Pravda. According to the detailed list of weapons released by the Department of Defense, the aid package will include 50 Bradley armored infantry vehicles, as well as 500 anti-tank missiles and 250,000 25mm ammunition for them. The US will also send 100 M113 armored personnel carriers, 55 mine-protected vehicles, and 138 Humvees armored vehicles, as well as 18 155mm self-propelled howitzers and 18 support vehicles. The assistance package also includes 70,000 regular artillery shells, 500 high-precision artillery shells, 10,120mm mortar mines, additional ammunition for HIMARS, and many more. Volodymyr Zelensky thanked President Biden, congressmen, and all Americans who value freedom and who know that freedom is worth protecting. Ukraine will receive up to 40 Marder infantry fighting vehicles and the Patriot air defense system from Germany by the end of March, reports Interfax Ukraine. According to the German government spokesman, training of Ukrainian servicemen for use of the Marder vehicles will take place in Germany for around 8 weeks. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky had a phone conversation with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and thanked him for the powerful defense support package. Prime Minister of Ukraine Denis Shmyhal warned that due to the significant cold and the existing threat of enemy missile attacks on the energy system, Ukrainians should be prepared for new emergency power outages, reports Suspilne. He said that in the first 5 days of 2023, the enemy mounted 2 drone attacks, as a result of which power generation facilities and backbone networks were damaged. Also, the shelling of the energy system in the east and south continues. According to the Prime Minister, warm weather and holidays helped to reduce power consumption, which allowed Ukraine to suspend power outages during winter holidays. Now the weather is getting colder and Russia is ready to mount a new missile attack on the civilian and energy infrastructure of Ukraine. Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal informed that the Ukrainian business paid 80 billion hryvnia more taxes in 2022 than in the peaceful 2021, reports LBUA. He said that 2023 should be the year of Ukraine's victory and the year of the beginning of the restoration of its economy. Ukraine's intelligence believes that Russia plans to mobilize another 500,000 troops in January-February in addition to the 300,000 that were mobilized in October 2022, reports Ukrainska Pravda. Deputy Chief of the Main Directorate of Military Intelligence of Ukraine, Vadim Skibitsky, said in an interview with The Guardian that the newly mobilized will take part in a series of Russian offensive operations in the spring and summer, which will take place in the south and east of Ukraine. He says that it would take Russia about 2 months to assemble military formations, and any Russian success on the battlefield would depend on how well equipped and trained the Russians were. According to Skibitsky, much will also depend on the continued supply of Western ammunition and weapons to Ukraine to equip the new reserve units that Ukraine is preparing. He believes that if Russia loses at this stage within the next 6-7 months, then Russian President Vladimir Putin will collapse. According to Skibitsky, a new wave of mobilization will be announced in Russia on January 15th after the winter holidays. If you like what we do and would like to tip us, you can now do so directly to our PayPal. Check out the link in the description to this episode for more details. And as usual, you can subscribe to our Patreon. In gratitude for your help, we will give you access to a series of exclusive episodes on wartime life in Ukraine. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.